Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one drink that we rule them all. Hope you'd remember your thoughts. Get your Ulu fingers and your middle guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword plus one. Usually when still it will get you to come. To the pit tank. To the pit tank. The Rocky Mountain pit tank.
Hi, I'm Guy,
Hi, I'm Troy.
Hi, I'm Alex.
and this is Geek Tank.
Still having password problems.
Size
Size
show.
podcasts.
Yeah. We should put Troy there, I guess. Because Alex was like, I'm in second place. I should say it next.
Yep. So
This is just a wonderful set of problems.
yeah, I have to do the reset thing on GoDaddy apparently with whatever password you use to create the thing because none of the stuff's working anymore. And it was all created by Guy, so Guy's the only one who can do it.
Okay, we'll talk while I do
Yep.
that.
Or we'll just blow it up and make a new one without using that address or something. Did you get to go to Ren Fair, Alex?
I did. It was fun.
Sweet.
Yeah, pretty tired. I helped a friend move a couple days and stayed up late role playing. Then went to Ren Fair. Then I went out dancing and yeah, kind of tired today.
Lots of things. That's
Oops.
cool.
I gotta get to our comments. There's a Brent. Brent can't comment on the private chat, so it does me no good being over there.
No.
I got to go see Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, super good.
It was good. What I found funny was Nick's complaints about the pacing at the end. I'm like, well, that's just what happens when you make a two-parter movie.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how you have to do the pacing. So
yeah, the cliffhanger there.
Yeah,
got lots of stuff to cliffhanger.
I'm really glad I saw it at the Alamo because they did the whole 30-minute thing beforehand and included a lot of Spider-Man trivia stuff I didn't know because I don't know about all of these other additional Spider-Man.
Oh, cool.
So like I'm completely unaware of the Dubai Spider-Man or that. So yeah, I don't think I can invite you to the private chat, especially now since I'm not an administrator on StreamYard. But,
Well, I'm working on that problem.
I think yep. I think we had you on the show once before, didn't we, Brent? I feel like we did. Which means you could have had access to the private chat.
Probably.
Yep. Gosh.
Well, that might do. Right. Well, that's your problem right there.
What's that? Your password?
You don't have any email accounts.
You don't have an email account.
Microsoft, all of your emails have been moved.
So it'll email you about that problem.
That's part of our problem is, well, I don't like that. Well, it's like we switched over to Microsoft 365, so click here instead. That's why you're not seeing your email accounts. Click here. So would you like to start a new email account? There's nothing here. I'm like, well, that explains why we can't log into our account that controls everything.
Huh.
That's always nice.
So weird that it just vanished like that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm now worried that the entire email is just gone.
I wonder if there's some way you can tell StreamYard, hey, I need you to send the thing to a different email than the one that you have on file.
Yeah, I mean, like clearly we can't use a company email. We're gonna have to use a private email now. So thanks guys. No, really, thanks. That's kind of funny. So I guess I should probably just set up a new email for us. That's kind of weird.
Yep. I don't know if that'll solve the StreamYard issue, but
Well, yeah, because you'll be able to log back into questions because it'll exist again. So you could do the I've lost my password
okay.
in theory. In theory. So anyway,
hmm
what did you think about it? The movie
I liked it.
generally. Okay.
I need to see it again because I need to see it where I can pause it because there's a lot of stuff that goes by really fast that I'm sure are like the one thing I did notice is his roommate was playing a Spider-Man video game.
Mm-hmm.
The little opening 30 minutes that they did before the show, something I thought was pretty cool is the fellow who voices Miles Morales is like this amazing dancer. So they
Oh,
showed him
cool.
doing like all these dance moves and things, and it's like that's impressive. So,
All right on.
what else was there? And then Nick recognized a cameo that I did not recognize, which was a convenience store clerk is from the Venom movies, which I don't want to give too much away, but there's a point where a character pops into the convenience. It's like, I bet you never seen weird stuff like this, and it's the same person who saw Venom like eat somebody, so that's why they're completely unfazed
Right.
by
Yeah.
what's going on. So, but yeah, it's definitely fun. Saw a trailer for the new Indiana Jones movie, and it doesn't look horrible.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
kind of wondering about that one. That one's really got me kind of like, I don't know.
But I mean, the bar's been set pretty darn low with the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm kind of concerned about this, gentlemen.
Okay.
It's looking like there's only one option, and that is we have to pay for another monthly subscription of Microsoft 365, which I think all of us own. So it's aggravating that we have to buy another one so that it can use it.
Yeah, I just think we need to scrap it and start over or something.
Yeah, we may have to leave GoDaddy. I mean, if they're going to start the subscription thing, I'm already getting nickel and dime to death. So I may be checking in from Tacoma. Hey, Bob.
Yep. Or at least write them and say, hey, we had an email. Why did you blow it up? Where is it?
Yeah, I mean, I paid for it
Mhm.
a long time ago, but I paid for it. I mean,
Yeah. So
I
Brent's, yeah.
everybody's like, I need to make money, so we're just gonna make you pay a monthly subscription. Yeah, I want to see the B5 cartoon when it comes out too. Well, see, that's a domain though. That's domain and hosting. I really don't want to move my domains and hosting over unless I absolutely have to, Brent, because that's a 2-week only working on building up websites job that's going to have to go in there because I've got a lot of old stuff hanging out on there. I don't know. I'm almost tempted to just say, let's get Rocky Mountain Geek at gmail.com. If I just need an email.
I'm pretty sure I set that up a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, like,
but we just need to figure out a way to tell SteamYard to stop sending our passcodes to questions since we can't access questions.
yeah, hopefully it'll let us.
But all that's still under you, I think.
Which I cannot do in the show.
No, of course not.
I'm going to have to exit out of the show to do that, which doesn't surprise me.
I have no surprise guests for tonight, so we're on our own.
Yeah,
The surprise guest was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like talking to her, though. She is fun. I am kind of surprised. I'm always surprised about things like, she's not involved in all the things that we're all involved in. And I'm always surprised when there's one of our friends like that. Like I have like a number of them that are that way. But I'm so used to hanging out in our core group where we all have so many, varying connections that it's so fascinating to me to find the friend who's like, well, never really got into anime, don't like Star Trek a whole lot, or whatever, like my buddy who's, I don't like Star Trek, I don't really watch anime, and I don't understand a whole bunch of that geeky stuff. And you're like, how are you two friends? I don't play role-playing games.
Well, that's because there's more to life than anime and Star Trek.
No, there
weird
isn't.
As it is.
Stop lying. You're just making up stuff now.
I'm making up words that don't exist.
You're making up words that don't exist. So strange. So, yeah. Let's see. What do we have going on today?
I don't know. What do you have going on today?
Oh, it's been kind of a day, but not a bad one. I'm fascinated because somehow I ended up on the Debunk Flat Earth Quora channel. And I'm not sure how this happened, but about once a week, somebody says, okay, prove to me that the Earth's not round or not flat. And I mean, it's like...
they had a show that I like called Adam Ruins Everything. They had one on conspiracy theories, and that was one of the ones they had built around it. Was the person, because they always have like a little skit set up that congeals all of the stuff that's in the show. And so the skit was that his current girlfriend didn't believe in the moon landing, and so he was having to just like explain it, how it's impossible. And they go into how it would have been more expensive to fake it than it would have been just to go there at the time with the technology they had. So.
Yeah. Well, that, and I mean, legitimately, one of the things I've been talking about on the Star Trek forums is, the Trekkies are still doing their, we should just all accept that everything past Enterprise is a different universe. And I actually said today, I said, you know what, guys, it's getting to the point now where we really should, if you're going to play that game, you should consider the original series in a different universe. Because it's now so old that, I mean, as much as I absolutely love the original series, and I do, if you're going to break one of them off, yep, people all around the Earth, they have members all around the world. This guy actually did an interesting thing talking about debunking, because he was talking about ships with clipper ships with double masts, crow's nests. And the idea was you'd mount one person in the forward crow's nest and the other person in a higher crow's nest, because then you'd be able to target something around the curvature of an Earth and determine how far it was. Because the forward crow's nest would see it at a different position than the backward crow's nest. So you'd be able to determine how far away it was. That was an ongoing thing. So he explains how that all works and everything. And he's like, on a flat globe, you wouldn't need those. They would never work. It wouldn't work at all. It wouldn't show anything. So he says, so if there's a great crow's nest conspiracy, you only have three paths. One, everyone who ever sailed or built a ship is in on the conspiracy. Two, everyone who has ever built or sailed a ship is a complete idiot. Or three, the Earth is round. Remember, I was like,
Yep.
Yeah, and Brent's saying over here, the tech in TOS is already outdated. It's not just that. There are, what has happened is this. Strange New Worlds is sort of rewriting some of the little minor stories in TOS. And they're doing it for character development, and actually it's kind of nice and different. So everybody's crying foul, saying that Strange New Worlds must be an offshoot because, these things couldn't have possibly happened because the original series said that they didn't, right? And I said, that was what prompted me to say that, because I was like, the last episode of the original series said that women never piloted spaceships. Somebody needs to break. If you're going to break one of them off, break off TOS. So women could never be in command of a starship. That was literally said. That was the entire plot of the last episode of the original series. So I'm like, if you're going to break one of them off, break off TOS. It's actually kind of cool because in the Macross universe, Macross the movie is considered to be a stylized movie, as if you went into the movie theater on the Macross and watched a movie of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So the differences between Macross the movie and Macross the TV series are sort of explained in canon by saying this is sort of a hyper glamorized version of it with, we changed this for story points and this for, we got a better looking actor to play this character. So we're in real life. And so that's been sort of the ongoing canon, because Macross the movie is pretty much Macross the series, but it has some major changes between the two. And so I was like, you could almost just say that TOS is like the, school kids play of what happened. That's the original series.
Ever since I first heard this, I always think that TNG is blatant pro-Federation propaganda.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. There will come a time. So I got into this thread because the technology, you can already see how dated the original series of Star Trek has become, which was the same era as the moon landings. So you can easily see what the technology of TV and movies had at the time, even 2001, which was done at the same time. Even that you can kind of see, that it wasn't, you could see through it, They all look like models. The people, are kind of, there's all kinds of stuff that if it was made to be, the moon landings were faked, we would have pretty much seen through it by now. It'd be pretty easy to see the movie technology through it. Always been one of my statements on that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's people being dumb. They're lying about the moon landing. Yeah, and so what?
Mm-hmm.
People gonna people. Well, anybody else get today off?
No, I work today. And I will work tonight after the show is over.
It's because your boss is a dick.
I know, right?
Yep.
Although, weirdly, I just logged my first overtime with the driving school. Just because of the way things worked out. I had a normal 4-day class plus one on Saturday. And just the way things kind of rolled out because of the overage that you have for the class 8 closeout, it ended up being, it was less than an hour. It was 0.89 units over 40 hours, but it's still like, I've never had that before with our driving school. So that was kind of cool.
You can get a talking to.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm like, somebody's going to be like, so we have to talk about your class closeouts. You have to do them faster now. Okay. Yeah. That's true. I do get to sleep with the boss's wife. That is a thing. Not necessarily with the driving school, though.
Mm-hmm.
The other boss's wife.
You're going to get in trouble.
I'm so going to get in trouble. I actually am kind of waiting for that. I'm like, I've never had overtime before. We're not designed to be getting overtime. I mean, like, that's not the way that it's supposed to be set up.
I imagine some of the behind the wheel guys do though.
No, I mean, well, I mean, they do, but I was behind the wheel too and never got overtime.
Well, yeah, but you were not doing the full time thing of like give me every hour you can, right?
No, but I had heard at some point in time from either our boss or one of the other bosses that the design behind this was supposed to be hiring people who do other things, and this is supplementary income. They built the structure of the company around that. So they have a few that are full-time employees, but the design was supposed to be people who really, and that's why they are really quick to say, sure, you can have all these days off if you need them, without ever arguing or have, because the mentality is set that we are not volunteering, but like volunteering, and they're paying us for our volunteer time, if you will.
So it's designed to try to prevent overtime from ever being a possibility.
Right, because all of us hourly employees, they, you know, that'd be silly if you've got 50 hourly employees and only, like, you know, say 300 hours that need to be filled, then you shouldn't ever have anybody going into overtime or whatever. I'm just making up numbers, but you get the idea.
Yep.
So, and how was driving school for you, Troy?
Well, I had a 2-week vacation, so I'm behind on the stuff I should be doing. They need me to get up to speed so I can teach the last 2 of the set of 4 classes. So I need to watch more of the pre-arranged videos that they have given me access to.
Yeah, that one's the only real reason. They're not going to be that worried about you in the audition so much as that's the time when you actually start to interface with the stupid DMV.
Yeah, it really seems like their training program should be more organized. There should be like an actual class that sets you down and talks you through all of this stuff instead of just giving you some links to some videos.
Hey, they don't have any teachers at this place, okay?
Oh, that's true. They don't have anybody that knows how to teach.
And they don't have any space to have a bunch of people there at desks getting information, okay? Come on.
Right. It's not like this is a school or something.
Unreasonable.
Stop doing that. Yeah. What an assumption you're making.
Like crazy ideas.
But yeah,
besides that, yeah, I teach actually Wednesday. So,
nice. Oh, I do too. Which is really random. Do you just have one day too?
Yeah, 3 and 4. So I'm assuming whoever's teaching the particular class just needed that day off or something.
Yeah, I mean, because that's weird. Because I've also got just a 3-4 up in Westminster. Just
Maybe it's one of these cases where they were going to get overtime.
Maybe. So, of course, Brent's now throwing it at you there, Alex. How's work for you?
Doing all right. Had the day off because it's a government job. Yay.
Yay.
And, I was unemployed for a while, so I'm still kind of playing catch up on the bills and stuff. So
that's cool.
This month's a little bit tough because aforementioned rent, fair, etc. Some stuff for the party. I spent $100 on ice cream and such. So, just some extra expenses. And yeah, no, it's doing okay. I'll be working the lobby starting next Monday, which will mostly be me, talking to people, trying to manage their expectations, and then go ahead and go into the back and research the answer, such as it were. Your government job is slow to work. Well, I guess the government job that you have is shitty. At least when it comes to time off. Sorry, Brent. So, no, it's so far so good. Still feeling supported by the team and the supervisors and stuff. So,
cool.
But yeah, so far so good. It's I am doing work for the entity. Like I've done my medical assistance training, my food assistance training. I'll be doing adult financial here in a couple weeks. And then then that's about another 3 or 4 weeks. And then after that, I'll be going to long-term care. So I still have lots of training to do. And I've been working the inquiries list to try to help out the team and learn more about the the messaging that the department wants and stuff like that.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah,
Nice.
pretty cool.
I dig it.
Yeah,
said-
like working at
Except
home.
then
Is,
I'll go to long-term care, and I'm like, and that's when we put Alex out to pasture.
no, not yet. But having the working from home and actually is different, as well as training online and stuff. We were doing training in person, but at least the next batch of training is going to be with the state online. It should be annoying, but yeah, it's just like when the wife and kid are here, when I'm down here in the basement, I hear them doing stuff and it's okay. Or when I'm working in the office, even though it's like most people only work one day a week in the office, but there's still people walking around. You can hear their chit chat here and there. But like the first day I was working at home, so last Tuesday, there was nothing going on. It was like really weird, kind of weirded me out. So then the next day I was all alone here. I put some music on upstairs. It helped. So we'll see how it goes. At least that aspect of it.
I was just reading an interesting thing when we're ready to switch topics.
Were you reading an interesting thing about who sponsors us?
No, I was not. I was not reading an interesting thing about who sponsored. Why? That's so strange. Why would you? Oh, look at that ticker. Oh my! Look at the ticker. Okay, well, since the ticker showed up, I got to do something about it.
Mhm.
So I'll just have to say that Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, and
Your mom. Cool. Before we get into that, Brent did a follow-up. I work for the Department of Human Services here in Jefferson County. So it's entry-level social work. I don't know what you do. Does anybody know what Brent does besides Brent?
Brent does beauty things, and that's all I know.
Dun dun dun.
All right.
How exciting.
So one of the things that's down here on Quora, as I was just trying to close this one out, I almost closed it out and then saw, since autism is a disability, why do so many autistic people not want a cure, assuming there was one? And I thought, that's an interesting question, because autism and ADD all both have the same thing, which is a whole bunch of stupid stuff that gets us in trouble all the time. Why would we want to get rid of it? Or why would we not want to get rid of it if there was a cure? And this guy is a high-functioning autistic. He replied and said, imagine an alternate reality where most humans don't have a sense of smell, but you do. It's wonderful in some ways. You can notice things that most people can't. Unfortunately, it comes with a drawback, which is a lot of things stink. People don't use deodorant because why would they? So you try to get along, but you can't not notice the smell. You have reactions to things that normal people don't. Normal people think you're weird. You can't even explain what smell is like to them because the language doesn't have a word for smell or odor or stink. Normal people have decided that you just have a disability because you can't function in a perfectly normal environment like a room full of hot, sweaty people. Assuming there's a cure, would you want one? Would you give up your ability to smell flowers and bread and other pleasant smells just so you can fit into society? And I was like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
To simplify it even further, it's sort of like people, have autonomy, bodily autonomy. And so unless you are a danger to yourself and others, you don't have to take your meds.
Yeah.
You don't have to get therapy. You don't,
sure.
It's like, why would people not want to do things? Because, there's reasons that there's autonomy. There's also like, if you take these things or do these things, you're not the person you were. In a very kind of, not necessarily flip the light switch kind of way, but in a very noticeable way, as opposed to gradual change. So, yeah.
As someone with ADD, it's had a lot of drawbacks. I've had a lot of conflicts with Troy. I've had a lot of conflicts with Alex, conflicts with all of my friends because I'm trying to say one thing and somehow it's sounding like something completely different. And I've actually had discussions where I'm like, I said that the color is blue, and people are like, why are you saying the color is orange? And I'm like, I literally did not say orange. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the way it sounds. And it takes me time to pull it apart to figure out what would give you the impression that I wanted orange. You know what I mean? And it's not your fault, it's mine. I'm the one making the communication error. And the problem with that is, or not the drawback, but the reverse of that is, I don't think inside the box. I never have. I'm very good at free associating and jumping around. I can see things in my head that I know other people don't see. And that's very cool. Would I trade it? You know what I mean?
Right.
And honestly, I don't think I would.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt, but I got to step away for a second. I'll be right back.
You can step away for a second. So, yeah, I mean, I've just been pondering that because that's a thought discussion out there. And the reason why I'm saying that is there's discussion out there that they may have tracked down some of the parts that cause autistic spectrum disorder, all of these various weirdnesses from autism all the way over to ADD. And they're talking about being able to come up with at some point in time a cure. And I've thought about that. I mean, that's what's prompted this discussion on Quora, because it's also prompted a discussion in my own mind, which is, would I trade? You know, would I get rid of all the things that make me write really interesting comics that may only be interesting to me, but I really don't care because they're interesting to me? Would I trade that, you know, to be normalized and have people finally, of course, at 50, I'm only like 15 years from retirement age. So the only people I really need to worry about now are my buddies and my friends. And I think you guys have all kind of gotten acclimated to me now. And we all know now, we've got code words we can say where you're like, that was word salad guy. Try again. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm totally like, oh, that was on me. I'm sorry. Here, let me try again. You know what I mean? Like, and there are moments where I'm super frustrated, but I'm getting better, you know? So I don't know. It makes me think about that a lot.
Well, I think it's, if you could get rid of the negative aspects, they would, but because it's a package deal, you can't just get rid of how much you hate the text styles of certain things.
Right.
You can't laser point things like that. And it's, yeah, and it's one of these things I think that not being a neuroscientist makes it impossible to know. But I think the things that open up the pathways to cause certain autism are also parts of the pathways that open up that allow them to be brilliant.
Right.
So it's hard to say how to fix that kind of thing.
I mean, autism is pretty much where those savants are coming from and things like that, where they just hear a song once and poof, they pick it up and it's just, they can play it perfectly and flawlessly. And you're like, what? But you can't talk to them. They've got like no language. You know what I mean? Like that seems like a complete trade. You know what I mean? Like, and would you cure that? I don't know. I don't know. That's a thing.
Well, I know that some people's fear of pharmaceuticals stems from they're concerned it's going to change them. And it's kind of like, that's, unfortunately, it'd be like maybe not being suicidal is a good thing. So.
Brent, the point of what I was just saying was not to actually diminish my comics at all. I'm just saying that I would keep writing my comics, whether they were popular and people liked them or whether it was just me, because I'm not writing for other people, which is what I was really kind of what I was headed for. But I've learned in my days that you can't say I'm not writing for you people because you people all suck. And that doesn't somehow that always ends up being the way that sounds. So anyway. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've thought about this, and especially now with a child who's going through the exact same things I went through. and I'm watching him stumble in the exact same places I stumbled. And I'm watching him have problems in the, you know what I mean? Like now I'm looking at it through a completely different lens. Would I solve my kid, so to speak? But then my kid is like becoming phenomenal with music. We'd have to sacrifice that. And I'm like, I don't think I'd want to.
I think if you could change the one thing and not the other. So the trick is being able to get the part of the brain to say, hey, you know, when there's something stupid that you're being asked to do is so obviously stupid, you should also see that getting it done and out of the way is the important thing, not recognizing that it's stupid. Because unfortunately, society's designed to where you have to jump through all the hoops if you want to get the money that you need to pay to stay alive, since we live in a society of you pay money to stay alive.
Right.
So,
right.
But I don't think it's a thing that can be repaired. The way it's not like a broken leg.
No, but it is. There are genes that are flipped, is what they're saying. And that's why they're saying it's hereditary. It's partially environmental and partially hereditary. So it's certain genes are susceptible to certain elements in the environment, and that causes it, is what they're saying. So, or the theory that they're working on. So it's kind of a thing. I heard that there was a group in China that had found a correlation between noise and autism and ASD and all of the, you know, like the closer people were to superhighways, the more they had, and it wasn't necessarily the emissions from the vehicles, it was the noise and the constant noise, which makes some sense because, of course, all of us on the spectrum to some degree all have problems with loud sounds, problems with sudden sounds, problems with too much noise, problems, you know what I mean? Like it's, for me, not only do I not like sharp noises and stuff like that, but also like I can't hear you guys if we're on a con floor, but I can hear my kid in the other room right now on his PC. So my hearing is fine. You know, like it's just that once the noise level rides up to a certain level, I can't hear anything but the noise. So there's clearly a disorder somewhere in my brain in processing the signal and stuff. So that's part of the problem.
Sounds too shaky to me.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like it's back to that. There may be a connection, but I don't think one causes the other.
They are very specifically saying that there is absolutely nothing other than just the barest correlation at this point in time.
Yeah, because there's plenty of people who weren't in that situation that ended up on the spectrum. So
right. But the ambient noise of the world is more now than it ever was, which might explain the rise of it, you know. So yeah. It is. I mean, it's, if anything, it's in its infancy and extraordinarily tenuous. And so I wouldn't take it for anything more than that's fascinating. That's a fascinating theory you guys have discovered. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't start saying, "Oh, quick, lock all your babies into, you know, isolation cubes." You know, kill all the sound to your children. You know, just kill your children. Wait, what? Whoa. Where'd you get there?
China. Just
saying. Anyway, I'm just curious. It was an interesting statement. I mean, just this individual put on here, because that actually does feel like the way I live life.
Well, I think they need to define disability more too, because are they just saying it's an ability that is hindered? Because height can be looked at as disability.
Yeah.
If they're going to look at it that way.
That's right, short people.
That's right.
We just said it here on Geek Tank.
Bow before your tall masters.
Right.
And
how would you know? if they were bowing. Sorry.
Well, no, I mean, like, disability is a disability in that, I mean, I do feel like I have, if you were to weigh ability only, like say that in our society, we reward smart people and give them more money and more jobs or whatever, which I kind of feel like is the concept that people are after. Either you work hard and you earn all of your things, or you have some natural talents and you earn all of the things. Then I can see that there is somewhat of a disability there, because I have never been able to earn all of the things, and I barely hold on to the world as it is. You know, I'm constantly.
But it's not smart. Rich people aren't rich because they're smart. Usually,
I understand. I'm saying that. I mean, I'm talking about theoretically, the theoretical setup. You know, I mean, like, of course, the real world is that rich people get their money from their dads and they control the world and da 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 da. But in theory, we're supposed to be rewarding people who work hard and use their brain to function further in life.
I want to interrupt and say bye, Donald. I don't know what was going on there. Sounds like he was having login issues with
technical issues.
Yeah.
Good to see you, however briefly.
Take care.
I don't know. I guess really what I'm trying to say is this situation right now where I cannot convey what I'm trying to see in my head is an exact example of what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's frustrating to me.
And the question would be, if you could get rid of that aspect, would it also get rid of your desire to make art, or are they separate?
Right.
Because could you get rid of that and keep the desire to do art?
Right. Because I would definitely, one of the things I envy about our friend James is his ability to pack something into a one sentence thing and just fire it off, and it's absolutely clear to everybody in the room. You know what I mean? That skill is the thing that I have literally envied of his since I've known him in high school. And that's because I can't. I literally cannot do that. Somehow I always seem to start my discussions with, so purple elephants and kill all the children. And everybody's like, whoa, 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 where are you going?
Well, not being able to be in your head and look out makes it difficult for other people to figure this out.
Yep.
But I'm curious if your perception of things, if you're limited to the information that you're providing and how you present yourself, you're only able to see it how you see it. And you're not able to get into other people's minds and say, oh, if I was watching this as someone other than Guy, I need to present this in a way that they can see it.
Right.
It's kind of like a director's brain. It's writing a scene for everyone as opposed to writing a scene for yourself.
Yep. And that is absolutely the problem. The problem is, I look at this from Troy's point of view, and of course I made perfect sense. I don't know why Troy's not understanding this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't think like you. I can't think like Alex. I can't think like anybody else. I mean, I only think like me. So the words that I said made total sense to me. And if I try to put myself in your shoes, they'd still make total sense.
Yeah, because you're still seeing them from your definitions.
Because I can only see them from my point of view, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is a blind spot. One of the things we were talking about in the week before last, we were at IACON, and I had a panel on ADD, and that was one of the things we were talking about, was we don't see the errors we're making because to us, we're operating as we're supposed to operate, as we've been told. And then you miss this one thing that everybody obviously knows. Well, we didn't, because nobody told us that, you know. It's a common problem. It's like when we're communicating, I will say something, and it actually happens with us all the time. I will say something, and your response coming back to me sounds like you're not upset, bothered by it, or it didn't land. I think what I'm trying to say is it didn't land well, right? Like, hey, Troy, I have this awesome idea. And you're like, boy, that's not going to work ever. Like, have you thought this through, guy? And I'm like, whoa, wait. Why are you saying, have you thought this through? And it takes time back and forth for you to convey to me how you perceived what I was saying to you. And then I go, oh, well, now I've learned a new thing. You can't use the word, fire in a theater. Great. I didn't realize that, or something, you know what I mean? Like, even between us as friends, there's little unspoken rules between all of us that I didn't hear, or I didn't catch, or I didn't understand. At least now, though, I'm at the point in my life where I know that this is me, not you. That's the problem. There was a time where I was like, you guys are all just crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, how are you guys not seeing this obvious thing? But now I have evolved enough to go, no, this is me. What I'm saying to you is word salad. And you're doing your best to understand what I'm saying. And you're trying to meet me halfway. But it's still word salad coming out. And I get it. And it's taken some time. But I'm finally coming around to it. And the question you're just posing was, would I give up my art and my art skills and all of my storytelling capabilities? Which, by the way, my storytelling capabilities don't seem to be affected by this, which is weird. Like, my characters don't sit there and create word salad. Just me. And that's weirder.
I wonder if that's a function of the communication style of managed communication.
Maybe.
Instead of talking, like you've spent the time to not only get in character, but also to be like, okay, well, these characters are having this conversation about this thing, so how do I convey that so that it makes sense between the two characters and doesn't sound like expository dialogue? And as you've gone through those thought processes and the initial thoughts, the initial writing, the rewrites, of course, and such, like, I wonder if that's like a function of that occurring.
You may be right. I think you may be right. Like, you're saying in essence, it gets washed a little bit and cleaned up.
Yeah.
Before it ends up on the paper, which is something I cannot afford to do live with you guys sitting right there.
Right. Yeah.
You mean, because just give me 2 hours and I'll answer your question.
Right. Yeah.
So and that may be it. It may be the why. Yeah, that sounds logical. But also, I mean, there are two things that are here. One, I have said things that I thought I was absolutely 100% clear on. No question. And like, Troy will do one thing with it. Kevin will do a completely different thing with it. And I'll be like, I was sure I was clear. You know what I mean?
I see. That's a pretty small sample size,
right?
Between like getting the information and seeing what they do, and I mean, I'm not dogging anybody out on this. It's just like people will obviously make their own assumptions and go on their own things. Like now, if you said something to like all of us, like at the gaming table, and then all 8 of us did something different,
right? I was making up an example. It wasn't it only happens between Troy and Kevin.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like
I was just making up an example to illustrate the point, which was that I feel like I would say something that I thought was absolutely crystal clear, and the responses that I get from everybody are so varied and different that I'm like, clearly I was not clear. You know what I mean? Like, unequivocally, unquestionably clear. And so I don't know. And again, I understand that that's me, not everybody else. I'm now finally coming around to realizing I'm the one with a filter problem somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's some part of my brain. My mom used to say that it was my brain was moving faster than my mouth. And that's the way it feels. It feels kind of like I'm already at the destination where I know what the solution is. And now I have to convince you guys to join me at this solution. And you guys, of course, being intelligent human beings, are coming up with different solutions and going different directions. And I'm like, those won't work. I've already run them through. I've already run the numbers through my brain. And so I'm now trying to explain all of this. And I can't get enough words out of my mouth in time. And that's sort of the way it feels. So, I mean, it's just weird. Anyway, interesting prompt to think about, which is, would I give up all of the positives that come with ADD? And
assuming they're connected.
Yeah, I had this discussion with my kid because I was telling him, I'm sorry, you're going to have to learn to solve X, Y, or Z problem because society isn't going to allow you to do it. It's just the way it goes. You have to learn that this is the way it is. It's not your fault, but you're going to have to do it anyway. And he was kind of like, man, sometimes I wish I didn't have ADD. And I'm like, oh, I hear that. But think about the positives on this, you know. There are some flip side things. You picked up reading music within like a month and a half. And you could just read music now, sight read. And I'm like, there are adults who spend years trying to sight read. You know what I mean? Like, and he just decided, well, maybe I'll do music now. Oh, there's dots on paper, dots on paper, dots on paper. And this is a C, and that's a D, and that's an E sharp. And, oh, this plays like this. Doodly doodly doo. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You just did that like you just consumed it, you know? And I said, that's the trade-off. You know, would you trade all of these stupid social problems? So
they just need to use that same knowledge to come up with a plan on how to deal with the stuff that's the hurdle.
Right.
It's my organization skills suck. Well, organize it like music or something, because you need to figure out a solution for this.
So, so as a final thing on here, this guy who the high functioning autistic has one last paragraph, which I think is fascinating, but a little bit, I don't know, a little bit controversial. He says, but there is a cure. All we have to do is get the quote unquote normal people to use deodorant, to realize that the smellers aren't just making up their claims of unease and discomfort, and that there's a similar cure for autism, and there is a similar cure for autism in our world, to have non-autistic people be more understanding and accommodating for us. That's the cure I want. And of course, on the surface, that doesn't necessarily sound like that's that controversial. But on the same token, it does mean you're asking society to adjust. And like, you two already adjust a lot to me, and I know it, and I appreciate it a lot. I know you guys are aware that I will drop things periodically. I will forget things, that they just will not stay in my forward memory at all. You know, to tell me to put things in my calendar. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are already adjusting to it, to me. And to ask general populace, that's an ask. That's a big ask, you know? Yeah. Hi, I want to work for your company. I will be phenomenally intelligent at organizing all your files. However, you're going to have to remind me every time about, lunchtime.
Yeah.
Whatever, because I'm never going to remember them.
Yeah, I mean, normalcy, and is, I mean, I was actually talking about this very recently, as like normalcy is one of those things that's made up, but is important because everybody agrees it's important.
Mm-hmm.
But also when it comes to accommodating people, I mean, it's less obvious with, say, someone with ADD. Yeah. But making accommodations generally helps more people than just the people specifically needing those accommodations. Yeah. And it's like sort of like, oh my gosh, we can't have people having the slightest modicum of empathy and maybe understanding and grace for each other. they might start realizing that they're just people like everybody else.
Oh no.
Oh no!
The
Can't
next
have
thing
that.
you're gonna want wheelchair ramps everywhere.
Right?
You know what? And we're gonna start finding all those delivery drivers with the hand carts for using them because they ain't disabled.
But I
You
mean,
know, those old
there are
people who can't
actually
lift their feet up enough to get on the curb. They
there
can't
are
use
people
that.
today that are very angry about having to give grace for certain for disabilities.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, people! I mean, just
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm reminded of a very good friend of mine who I helped move, and will continue to help move over the next few weeks. Uh, he was having a fit of pique, and we were out. It's like him and his partner, my wife and I, and he's just like he's had a week, and he's like, I wish you just kill everybody. He's just fucking sick and tired of this shit. I'm like, man, can you start with yourself and save the rest of us the trouble? If you're gonna be
Yeah.
so upset about having to have like wheelchair ramps and automatic doors, just I mean, obviously you being you is punishment enough. But can you please like spare us the rest of us your fucking bullshit?
Right?
It's like, come on.
That's
I'm starting to sound like Captain
I
Kirk
like
now. Look
I
out.
like automatic doors. Makes me feel like I'm in Star Trek. So I mean, like, I don't know. For me, I find like all of these things. There's always something fascinating to learn about it. I don't know why people get all stressed out. That's
Yeah,
so
I don't know. Maybe part of it's also that they think that it's not going to be them eventually. They think they're going to live together at the prime of their youth and never have any issues, as opposed to the people who are disabled or differently abled or who are going through that before other people because of chronic illnesses or whatever or accidents. It's like, yeah, that's you in like 20, 30 years.
Yep.
That scares me. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's part of the human condition, being scared.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
It's-
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to go over to my own show now.
and on that uplifting note.
On that uplifting note, well, I don't know. I mean, like, I think it's okay. I think, we can get this figured out. We can figure it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad to have been with you guys. Thanks for letting me kind of go on a little bit of a tangent on this one. It was a
That's what we do
fascinating
every show.
process. Do what?
What?
That's how we roll. Almost every show rolls this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not with me. I mean, I know you think that okay,
That's
guys.
the funniest thing I've heard you say all week, guy.
Right? I've said some funny things. I'm just saying.
You need me to stick around, Alex?
Needs a strong word, but yeah, chit chatting is always fun.
Okay, I'll stick around.
So go to your show, guy, and I hope
I'm gonna have to
that
do the
Kai has a
thing where I
great concert,
disable
and
the thing.
I'll text you about walksies,
Yes.
and yeah, and if nothing else, I'll see you Friday, man.
See you then. And that's all the time we have for today, guys. I've been Guy,
I've been Troy.
And I've been Alex.
and this is Geek Tank.